And welcome back, everybody, to the War Giving Racing Network for the coverage of the 2021 FASCAR season. Today marks the start of the season with the first race, which is the 500 miles of Daytona. Now, quickly, we're just going to do a quick recap of the starting grid for the race in case you missed it. Yet in yesterday's stream, that was the duels that officially set the grid for the 500-mile race. So, starting on the front row, we have pole setter Denny Hamlin, who's looking to win his third 500 miles of Daytona. On the outside pole, we have Kevin Harvick in his number 4 Stewart Haas racing machine. Then we have the 37 of Ryan Preece, the 34 of Michael McDowell, the 41 of Cole Custer, the 2 of Brad Keselowski, the number 1 of Kurt Busch, the number 20 of Christopher Bell, the number 19 of Martin Truex Jr., the number 22 of Joey Logano, the number 10 of Eric Almirola, the 14 of Chase Briscoe, the 17 of Chris Buescher, the 51 of Cody Ware, the 5 of Kyle Larson, the 3 of Austin Dillon, the surprise row of the grid with the number 00 of Quinn Half, and the number 62 of Noah Gragson. Bubba Wallace in the number 23 starts 19th, with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 47 starting 20th. 21st, the number 6 of Ryan Newman. 22nd, the number 48 of Alex Bowman. 23rd, the number 15 of James Davidson. 24th, the number 21 of Matt De Benedetto. The 25th, the number 38 of Anthony Alfredo. 26th, the number 78 of BJ McLeod. 27th, the number 9 of Chase Elliott. 28th, the number 96 of Ty Dillon. 29th, the number 18 of Kyle Busch. 30th, the number 42 of Ross Chastain. 31st, the number 7 of Corey LaJoie. 32nd, the number 12 of Ryan Blaney. 33rd, the number 53 of Joey Gase. 34th, the number 24 of William Byron. 35th, the number 8 of Tyler Reddick. And 36th, the number 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Now, with the grid being set, let's go live to the track. As we go here to the cars pulling out of pit lane. Oh, it looks like somebody has trouble. The number 96 of Ty Dillon seems to have suffered at least some sort of stall on pit lane, and his crew has pushed his car back to his pit box. We will see if he is able to start this race today. So today's race will be 50 laps around the 2.5-mile tri-oval. Daytona International Speedway is a high-banked oval. As you watched yesterday's duels video, you will know that the laps are completely flat out and completely dependent on whether you have the draft or not. Now, this type of pack racing can be absolutely fantastic or absolutely terrible, depending on the mood of the drivers that. If the drivers decide to go for broke, we can see many cautions, high-speed crashes, potentially dangerous and deadly ones. If the drivers decide to conserve themselves a bit more, we may see a bit of training, which is a single file line racing around the track, just getting the laps counted down. Hopefully we'll see a good mix of the two, especially with the pit window only being about 6 to 8 laps. The cars will at least have to make 5 or 6 stops. That surely will bring an interesting segment to this race as they round the 4th turn heading onto the front stretch. You can see the pace car out in front with its lights turned off, meaning that we are going green this time. We ride along with 10th place Joey Logano. Pace car pulls in. Denny Hamlin's awaiting the drop of the green flag, and the green flag is out, and away we go for the 2021 FASCAR season. Good getaway by the front group. As they rocket down into turn 1 for the first time of 50. As you can see behind, everybody seems to have filed in. Maybe a few position changes, but nothing too major. We see our first 3 wide of the day as the front 2 rows have decided that being 3 wide is the way to go to complete the first lap. With Christopher Bell going through the middle of Cole Custer and Michael McDowell and Ryan Preece trying to go around the outside of Greg Keselowski while forcing Kevin Harvick to the outside lane. Not somewhere you want to be by yourself. Denny Hamlin out in control of the field. And to the inside, you can see Kurt Busch trying to push the number 41 along past the 22. As you can see back of the field that mostly it's starting to form into a single file line, riding around the bottom and then coming up to the top on the back to back. Honestly, it is just great to be back FASCAR racing here in 2021. Now the favorites for today. The first favorite is obviously the pole sitter, the number 11 Denny Hamlin, as he is typically very strong here at the Daytona International Speedway, having won multiple previous 500 mile Daytona races. But really, anybody that's within that final pack, when it comes down to the end of the race, has a fair shot at winning. It ultimately comes down to knowing when to pit, who to pit with, and how cleanly you can get on and off a pit road, especially since you're braking down from 190 miles per hour. We freeform back up into our 2 lines, maybe about 16 cars deep, as we ride around for the 3rd complete lap of this circuit. And here we are riding along with the number 17 of Chris Buescher, one of the Roush Fenway cars, who is looking to have a better season than last year. Buescher finished within the top 20 of points, but cannot push on into the top 15 or even the top 10. He is surely looking as the lead driver of the Roush Fenway team to push up into the top 15 in order to help his team finish the highest up in the team standings as possible. As this year, FASCAR has introduced the team's standings championship in order to allocate additional prize money to the teams. This falls similar to if viewers have watched older Formula One championships, where the best result from that team counts. So that way, the 4-car teams, such as Joe Gibbs Racing, do not have an explicit advantage over the 2-car teams of Roush Fenway or even the 1-car teams of the Wood Brothers. As we can see, the number 51 of Cody Ware ducking to the inside of Buescher. Buescher really needs to tuck in, and he does so. As you can see, this field is starting to spread out just a little bit with a few slower cars starting a bit higher than expected, really slowing down the progress of the faster cars stuck in the back of the field. And it looks like we already have our first car cut adrift from the wing pack. The number 8 of Tyler Reddick seems to have lost draft from the group in front of him. As we complete lap 5, we are 1/10 of the way through this 500-mile race. Early championship favorites obviously have to be 3 of the 4 Joe Gibbs cars. And what is that? That Ty Dillon? Ty Dillon himself has came back out on the track, however, by himself and in a smaller team. His car obviously will not be going faster as the massive pack that's behind him catches up to him. Let's hope that everyone can navigate around Ty Dillon safely, which will be very hard to do if they continue 3 wide like this with Kurt Busch, Logano, and Harvick. Approaching Ty Dillon. The leader's ducked on the inside, but the outside lane is trapped. Oh no, they have to slow up significantly. This makes Ty Dillon the first driver of the season to go a lap down, which is surprising considering he's at a track that is wide open around the entirety of it, which means that it's very difficult to lose the draft. And once you lose that draft, you start dropping like a rock. And obviously, Dillon never had the draft as he had to start from pit road due to some mechanical issues as the front of the field works their way around. But again, Kevin Harvick is stuck on that outside line, which is just no good, especially with very limited help and a lap car in front of him. Although Ty Dillon has now folded himself into the field. As we seem to have our first pit stop, will be the number 23 of Bubba Wallace, who nearly gets clobbered by the three-wide pack coming around. With pit stops starting the cone, we're going to ride on board with the number 34 of McDowell through this cycle. But as I was saying, championship favorites have to be 3 of the 4 Joe Gibbs cars. With Christopher Bell being the newest addition to the team, he is not expected to compete for the championship this year. Although, who knows, he may pull off quite a nice surprise considering that he is a very talented racer. Won multiple races in FASCAR's second division. Other favorites have to include the Hendrick cars, as while they have a new addition to the team, Kyle Larson, he is a known race winner in lesser equipment at Chip Ganassi Racing. Stu Haas Racing should have at least one title contender, the annual and consistent Kevin Harvick, who is one of the greatest drivers currently on the grid. Other teams with an outside shot would be RCR, who have very good speed at plate tracks such as Daytona and Talladega. Kurt Busch, the wily veteran, also is a FASCAR Cup champion, so who knows, he may be able to pull something off. Oh, and obviously the last power team I've forgotten to mention, Team Penske, with their 3 full-time cars, obviously have the ability to win the championship. Logano's a champion, Keselowski's a champion. The only one who is not a champion at Team Penske so far is Ryan Blaney, and he is a known race winner. As you can see, the field is starting to spread out as pit stops start to happen. It looks like just the 23 has pit so far, excluding the 96, who is 5 laps down due to his mechanical issues earlier on. Now as we approach the 1/5 race distance, let's see who peels off here and heads into the pits. Logano, Custer, Bell, Preece, Busch, Truex, Harvick, Stenhouse, Larson, Buescher, Ware, Gregson, Bowman, Elliott, LaJoie, Alfredo, Newman, D. Benedetto, McLeod. Ooh, McLeod seems to be going a little quick around the outside. He might get a speeding penalty for that. As we go back out onto the track, you can see that the rest of the field is on with a few merging cars, the 15 of Davidson, the 14 of Briscoe, the 18 of Busch, as well as the 10 of Almirola, the 53 of Gase, and the 00 of Houff, and the 24 of Byron. It does seem like 11 laps is the maximum these cars can run, as Denny Hamlin seems to have run out of fuel while coasting onto pit road. With the 2 Penske cars, the 34 front row motorsport car of Michael McDowell and the 2 Team Penske car of Brad Keselowski. My apologies for confusing the 22 of Logano and the 34 of McDowell, as Denny continues coasting down to his first pit stall. It looks like the right side jacks go up, so that's at least a 2-tire stop for most of these teams. Oh, and the jacks go up on the left-hand side. That means 4 tires. And the number 34 of Michael McDowell, which is a stark contrast from yesterday's dual race where most teams took 2 tires or even no tires with fuel only. As Brad Keselowski wins the race off pit road for this group, he's out off in front, meaning that he might not have a draft partner. As we watch behind in order to see if there's a nice large pack formed up from the previous groups that have pit. And there is a group that's formed up. However, it's not the front group. meaning that Joey Logano is all by himself. But let's see if this line led by Cole Custer is able to scoot on by the number 34 McDowell. And it looks like Custer's teammate Briscoe is jumping to the inside as they enter into turn 3. Custer pushed by Kurt Busch in the number 1 Monster Energy car. It looks like they've stalled out. McDowell has managed to stay ahead of them, as Brad Keselowski opens up a significant lead over Joey Logano. But remember, as this is a plate track and the draft is the king, Keselowski surely will be hunted down by the pack behind him, as it is far too early in the race for a 1.7 second lead or a 5.5 second lead over the pack to matter. Now we've got 3 distinct packs forming up. We've got this front group that includes the lap car of the number 96, Ty Dillon. The second group led by Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott. And the third group led by Kyle Larson. Oh, and as well a fourth group led by AJ Allmendinger. This is where these races sadly sometimes fall into this kind of law with this style pack racing. As you can see farther back, they are trying to go single file in order to get a greater slingshot and momentum around this track, which will catch them up with the front packs. The front packs, however, they are more than content to go 2-3 wide still. As now this first main pack of about 7-ish cars, with a few cars trying to join them from behind, is attempting to push their way up to the 2 Team Penske cars stuck out front, who for some reason are going 2 by 2 instead of just pushing each other in order to stay away from this pack. As we complete lap 14 of 50, these standings are the 22 of Logano out front, the 2 of Keselowski right behind him, with the 34 of McDowell, the 11 of Hamlin, the 41 of Custer, the 47 of Stenhouse, the 1 of Kurt Busch, the 19 of Truex, the 9 of Elliott, and the 3 of Austin Dillon rounding out the top 10. Although remember, these live standings are a lap behind and only update once the lap has completed. So if someone has been making moves like the number 9 of Chase Elliott past Stenhouse, Truex, and Dillon, it will not be reflected until they complete that next lap. And the Penske cars are back at it again, going 2 wide again, which has reduced their lead from 5 seconds down to 2.5 as the number 96 of Ty Dillon comes back out of the pits after his first official stop. Oh, so close from Keselowski. Unfortunately, he's able to go around. But then Ty Dillon's going to cause issues for this next pack again. But fortunately, all of them are able to go by safely. Oh, Briscoe seemed to got back into the back of Dillon a little bit. Fortunately, it looks like there's not too much damage on either car, but that will significantly slow up Briscoe and not allow him to catch back up to that leading pack. This is what happens when a pack catches a single car, especially one that has just been slowed up by an exiting pit. It is like a bunch of hungry sharks looking to devour the number 14 of Chase Briscoe as they split wide, although Kyle Busch pulls back into line behind Briscoe. Some really clean driving today from the competitors is something I'm really proud to see as a commentator. It makes my life easier. It means every driver's being safe and trying to get to the end of the race, as this year, win is not in, as you have to finish the entirety of the season with the most amount of points. There's no more playoffs. There's no more winning you're in. You have to finish first in points, and I am proud to say that as a FASCAR fan. I've been looking forward to this rule change for many years. As that lead pack has definitely now caught the 2 Penske cars as they run line of file. You spread out into 2 lanes with the 22 and the 2, although the 22 is just ducked down the inside. The inside lane seems to be developing a bit more as the outside lane only has 3 cars in this top 10 group. As we approach the 40% mark of this race. That second pack is really not caring about what it looks like or what it's doing. As Kyle Larson looks to go possibly 4 wide through the tri-oval. Will they stick it together? Oh, little tap on the back of Almirola. Oh, Almirola forces him down. But LaJoie's able to jump out to the outside lane, meaning that crisis has been averted. Fortunately, no cars have came out of the pits. Otherwise, we would have seen a massive collision right there. As you can see, the third group is all line astern, trying to catch back up to the main pack. And then we have Kevin Harvick riding around, Matt DiBenedetto riding around, Bubba Wallace riding around, Tyler Reddick riding around, and Davidson's back on pit road for his second stop. That's right, folks. The second pit window is approaching as the front group seems to still have Logano in the lead. And he is like duct tape to the front of the lines, just sticking to it no matter what. As the 15 of Davidson pulls out dangerously onto the track, trying to get back up to speed. Oh my. As we will ride along with the number 41 of Cole Custer for this pit window. And there goes the first group from the lead pack with Elliott and Logano diving down into pit road. But as I stated, we will be following the 41 of Cole Custer, who is in his second FASCAR season. Cole Custer managed to pull off a win at the 1.5-mile Kentucky Motor Speedway, which unfortunately for him is not on the calendar this year. As SMI president and officials determined that bringing back Chicagoland Speedway to the schedule as well as North Wilkesboro was more beneficial to the company. As we complete lap 21, heading through NASCAR turns 3 and 4. Cole Custer sounds like he's going to be coming down the pits as well as most of the lead pack. The only two staying out being the 2 of Keselowski and the 1 of Kurt Busch. As we head on to pit road for the second. Another unique feature about Daytona is that one can pit without actually losing a lap if they are in the front group. Most NASCAR tracks are about a 30-second lap time in pit road speed, typically being between 40 and 60 miles per hour. Means that one will lose a lap every time you pit during green flag pit stops, meaning that if you don't time your pit stop correctly, it can lead to significant problems later on in the race, as there are no ways to get your lap back other than racing around the leader. So, with that, Cole Custer took a standard 4-tire stop, filled his race car up with gas, and is now accelerating back onto the bank tank. And there in the background, you can see Logano and what looks to be Elliott, as well as a third car, which is Brad Keselowski, who I believe has stayed out again. And this is proof, folks. Logano and Elliott have pit, but they stayed ahead of leader Brad Keselowski. And because they are able to tandem, they are flying down this back stretch, passing all of the single-file cars that were in the main group with them just a few short laps ago. Now, surely Brad has got to be pitting this time by. Oh, he seems to have run out of fuel. Oh, my Lord. The Penske strategists have got it completely wrong. As Brad Keselowski is now coasting through turns 3 and 4 and then down to pit road. Someone messed up their math, and I feel sorry for that person. As you can see the field flying by. Losing your fuel, especially at Daytona with it being such a large track, is really, really bad. I mean, it's bad losing your fuel pressure normally, but on Daytona, where you've got to be flat out all the way around, maintain that high top speed, it is absolutely critical. As we approach the halfway point, Kurt Busch came out of the pits in front of this group, but it looks like McDowell's going to be able to get the run around the outside of Busch. Well, he slows up Logano and Elliott. Austin Dillon's looking to make a move, but Kurt Busch jumps out in front of him. So Michael McDowell, unless some miracle stop from the Penske crew, means that he will take the lead of the 500-mile race, as there goes Brad Keselowski. Michael McDowell is your new race leader. Just some quick lights on Front Row Motorsports, the team McDowell runs for. They are traditionally a midfield team. However, they have been known to race extremely well on super speedways, with a win coming at Talladega and a win at Pocono, although Pocono is certainly not your traditional super speedway. As Logano and the rest of the pack catches up to McDowell, McDowell's probably going to have to go defensive in order to hold them off. Completing lap 24 of this 50-lap race, McDowell for Front Row Motorsports leads. And as we watch the battle for the lead continue, with Joey Logano go to the inside of McDowell, although McDowell now has Elliott behind him. Elliott doesn't have any support from behind, although here comes Dillon, Stenhouse, and Busch. Elliott looks like to make it 3 wide down the back stretch as McDowell heads back into first place. Logano tucks back in behind the Ford of McDowell, as McDowell now plays the guessing game between which lane he needs to be in front of, as Dillon has now approached the back of Chase Elliott's car. So, as of lap 25, the standings are McDowell, Logano, Elliott, Dillon, Busch, Stenhouse, Truex, Custer, Hamlin, Keselowski, LaJoie, Larson, Bowman, Busch, Buescher, Blaney, Preece, Briscoe, Bell, and Newman rounding out the top 20. As we now have reached halfway point of this FASCAR 500 miles of Daytona race. We have a front group of 6 cars, I believe. Yes, 6 cars, as well as Truex, Hamlin, Custer, Keselowski forming up a second group, and then the larger third group led by Kyle Larson and Corey LaJoie, although Chris Busch is looking like to go to the inside, with Bowman, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and then Christopher Bell leading up the fourth group, and by all means the largest group. And then we've just got a few stragglers, and then a few cars by themselves, as Harvick, Gase, Wallace, DiBenedetto, and Reddick are certainly not having the race they've wanted to have. We go back up to the front, seeing some 3 wide action from Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch at the inside of Corey LaJoie, as Denny Hamlin, Cole Custer have now caught Martin Truex Jr. with Keselowski, who has luckily not fallen too far down. He's only fallen down to 10th place after his fuel issue. And so, just a reminder, this is a crown jewel race on the FASCAR schedule, meaning that this race is worth double the points. So it is extremely important to start this season off on a good foot. And those that failed to qualify, especially those that plan to run full-time, such as the 43 of Eric Jones, or the 13 of James Early, who was unfortunately able to make it to this race due to equipment shortages, really puts them in a hole, as the winner here will earn at least 410 points. 400 points for finishing first, and obviously to win the race, you have to lead the final lap, meaning they will at least receive the lead a lap bonus point. Bonus points, as it is worth 10 points in a crown jewel race. As we watch the front pack here complete lap 28, we will step away for just a moment while we take a quick commercial break. And we are back on the War Given Racing Network as the lead pack approaches the number 8 of Tyler Reddick in order to put him 1 lap down. Reddick has had a really disappointing speed week so far, as while he didn't qualify for the Clash, he had a poor duel, was very fortunate to just be able to start this race, and has just simply been off the pace. The crew at the number 8 has just simply not gotten the setup right. for this very important opening race of the season, as McDowell was able to successfully navigate around the outside, as well as Lagana, who has retaken the lead, followed by Elliott and Kurt Busch, although Reddick seems to now have switched the outside lane, allowing Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon in the 3, his teammate, the ability to go around the bottom, although he looks possibly to block his teammate for some strange reason. Must be a miscommunication from their spotters. Ricky Stenhouse looks to follow Dillon through, as there is nobody behind this front group. According to our timings, the next group of Denny Hamlin, Keselowski, Custer, and Truex seems to be about 6.5 seconds back. Oh, as we have a yellow flag. We have cars on pit road sitting there. AJ Allmendinger. Let's see if we can find the cause of this caution. Well, it seems to me that everything looks a-okay. Let's quickly hit the Let's go back and replay and follow AJ Allmendinger to see what caused this caution. As we wind back the footage in order to show what happened to AJ Allmendinger, who is just sitting on pit road. As you can see off to the right-hand side, the caution flag is flying. FASCAR caution procedures dictate that once the cars pass the yellow flag, they slow down in order to form it behind the pace car. However, if they are still on their lap, they are allowed to continue at full racing speed in order to make up positions going into the caution period. However, the once formed up behind the pace car, they will be able to head down pit road with lap cars following the next lap. Then, after that is all done, they line back up, they cycle up, and they get ready to go back racing. The restart formation is a single file line, irregardless of position. So if you see on the timing stream some discrepancies, such as, say, the 22 and the 34 being first and second, yet there's a car between them, that is because the lap cars are allowed to start there in order to try to win back their lap. I hope that explanation was sufficient as we continue to rewind in order to find what's happened exactly to cause this caution. Oh, and it seems that AJ Allmendinger simply has stopped on the track. AJ, you know you cannot do that. It obviously makes sense that fast car officials decided to fly the caution flag, as a stopped car on track is a very significant hazard. So we will head back up to the moment the caution occurred, now that we know what happened. As you can see, they are racing back to the line. And now they will form up single file line to form up behind the pace car. And we are 30 laps in of this 50-lap race, meaning that we have 40% of this race still to go. It looks like it will probably be about one more pit stop each for these teams after they pit, assuming they pit this time by, as Michael McDowell was able to take the lead going into this caution period. As you can see, Tyler Reddick is sorting himself in between lead lap cars of Austin Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse, as I mentioned on pit road. I believe also on pit road we saw the number 38 of Anthony Alfredo pull onto pit road with looked to be some sort of engine issue. Let's just check our standings to see if he's been put a few laps down, and that is correct. Anthony Alfredo is unfortunately most likely out of this race with some sort of issues. Oh, and the number 42 of Ross Chastain seems to have retired from this race as well. We must have missed him have some sort of mechanical issue. Now, there are 4 cars a lap down, unfortunately. It seems like the number 23 of Bubba Wallace, who actually was showing good pace throughout the speed weeks this week, or my bad, the fast weeks as they have been renamed for this season. Certainly not the debut that team has been wanting for their first fast car race. As you can see, the lap cars are staying out on the track as is procedure, as they will pit next time by as the lead lap cars pull down onto pit road. And this is the number 48 Ally Chevrolet of Alex Bowman racing for Hendrick Motorsports, as we see him pull into his pit stall for most likely the third time. And the right-hand side goes up for 2 tires. As they are fueling it with fuel, they drop it down on the jack. They go around the other side, they raise it back up, they put 2 more tires on, continue filling it with fuel, drop her down, and away she goes. Oh, slow cars, slow cars. What are these cars doing coming out pit road? Get up to speed, you guys. So the timing line at the end of pit road will determine where everybody positions. So even though Alex Bowman may be ahead currently of the number 19 of Mark Truex, the 19 of Truex gets to come back around as he came off pit road first, but for whatever reason wasn't able to get his car up to speed that quickly. As we can see the pack forming back up, although there is a small slowdown as the lap cars have yet to pit due to the long nature of this track. Oh, what the heck what is the number 78 doing? It's completely ran into the back of the 24. The 78 will be lucky if he doesn't have to retire from this race, as the 24 is absolutely junked. I mean, fortunately, it's a super speedway, so they don't need that much aerodynamics, but that certainly has to slow them down. The 24 has been struggling to stay in the pack now. I can't imagine what will happen with that damage. As, yes, the number 78 is pulling on a pit road. I don't know what the heck just happened. As BJ McLeod in his team's first race for Live Fast Motorsports has to be disappointed with most likely going out in such a ridiculous fashion. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. What are you can't make up any spots. Why are you gunning it full throttle? That's just ridiculous. As you can see, they are pushing him back to the garage. So, unfortunately, it looks like BJ McLeod will have to retire from his team's first race. Now, as we are still under the caution period with the lights still on, meaning we have an additional circuit to go around, we will go run through the field. So we've got the number 22 of Joey Logano in first, the number 9 of Chase Elliott in second, the number 18 of Kyle Busch, who has gotten a very lucky break to get into the front pack with this caution, the number 30 of Michael McDowell, the number 3 of Austin Dillon, the number 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the number 1 of Kurt Busch, the number 11 of Denny Hamlin, the number 5 of Kyle Larson, the number 24 of William Byron, who unfortunately now has the rear end damage. Then we have the 19 of Truex, the 48 of Bowman, who also seemed to have suffered a little bit of rear end damage with a collision of the number 7 Spire car of Corey LaJoie. Then we have Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson, Ryan Newman, Eric Almirola, Matt DiBenedetto, Chase Briscoe, Cole Custer, Cody Ware, Quinn Houff, somehow still on the lead lap in a Starcom car. Honestly, quite impressive considering we are nearly 70% of the way through this race. The number 4 of Kevin Harvick, and now we reach the lap cars. The number 15 of Anthony Davidson, the number 33 of Joey Gase, the number 23 of Bubba Wallace, the number 8 of Tyler Reddick, the number 96 of Ty Dillon, and the number 16 of AJ Allmendinger, who seems to have now gone back on track. And what is this? A car's blowing up. Oh no, it's the number 12 of Ryan Blaney. The unfortunate day for the number 12 Penske car continues, as he had been running in the back of the pack, and it has just gotten significantly worse with what looks to be some sort of engine problem. Now, as we go past the stripe again, you can see on the pace car, the lights are out. And that means that this time by, the pace car will pull in and we will head back to green flag racing with 16 laps to go. Meaning that one more pit stop is most likely on the cards for all drivers. I still can't believe the McLeod ran into the back of Byron that badly. I mean, McLeod was on the lead lap. If McLeod doesn't wreck there, he is in 11th place in his first race of a Crown Jewel event, meaning the points haul could make the season. Now instead, he is sitting second to last, or correction, third to last after the 16, which is on track, and the 96, which is on track, go past him according to the lap counter. It's just unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that such a small team with such an impressive debut made that mistake. I mean, if I'm a guy in their shop, I am massively disappointed right now in my driver. Who's, well, also my boss, so I can't really say anything. So, as we ride aboard with the 24 of Byron, who is currently in 10th position, we see the pace car coming out of turn 4. Man, these caution laps feel like they take an eternity. But safety is safety, and I'm glad FASCAR officials threw the caution flag for the stop car of AJ Allmendinger on the apron when they did. And as the leader, Joey Logano will be able to control the field up until he sees the green flag, where he can accelerate away. Pace car's in. Logano's looking for the green flag. And there it is. And we are back racing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Already the car is going too wide in the back, as it looks like Michael McDowell's making a move on Kyle Busch. Oh, and there goes the inside lane forming. Today's massive surprise has definitely got to be McDowell. Running an absolutely brilliant race in order to be up this close to the front of the field with only 16 laps to go. Phenomenal race from the number 34 Front Row Motorsport car. Really, the disappointments of the day has to be Stewart Haas Racing as a whole. Not a single car in the top 19. Their top car is the number 10 of Eric Almirola in 20th place. For a team that dominated plate tracks like this a few years ago, that is massively disappointing. Although it seems to have Briscoe, Harvick, and Custer all in close conjunction behind Almirola. Hopefully they'll be able to make a late charge. That caution really has reset everything, as they are now able to be in one larger pack, although the 24 of Byron is holding up the pack. Byron has not been on the pace this week, but this late caution might inspire something in him. As we go up to the front pack, it looks like Christopher Bell's looking to go to the inside of Keselowski, who is able to pull down in front of him, as Austin Dillon is left high and dry on that outside lane. We seem to trying to be having two lanes formed up here, although Denny Hamlin's getting pushed to the front by Kurt Busch. Does Denny Hamlin have the lead to get those bonus points? Yes, he does, and Denny Hamlin leads his first laps of this race. Joey Logano is trying to fight back, but with only one car helping him on the outside, probably won't be able to get past Denny Hamlin. As now there go three wide with Larson, Elliott, and McDowell. Oh, it's fortunately a straightaway, so it's okay, and they form back up to their 2x2, especially with only 14 laps to go. I'd hate to see a massive pileup, the big one, as they call it, happen to these front-running cars. As you can see, Byron is just dropping like a stone, just getting eaten up by the cars who have no damage. I'm sure Byron's pit crew, Byron's crew chief, Byron's spotter are getting ready to fight somebody at the number 78. I'm hoping that that team takes cover in order to avoid the storm that the Hendrick crew might be able to brew up. Overall, this race has been absolutely fantastic. Lots of passes for the lead, a good front group. Sure, there haven't been any major wrecks, but you cannot deny that this type of racing is extremely exciting. And I, for one, am so happy that the first race of this 2021 FASCAR season is going off so well. As you can see, the back markers are just falling a little bit off the pace as the back tries to go single file in order to keep up that top speed. While three distinct packs have definitely formed up, correction, two distinct packs have formed up. We've got about the front 13 or 14 cars. Then you've got about the next 13, 14 cars. Then you've got the stragglers behind them. You've got 12 laps to go of this race, and it looks like there is a 2-car tandem out in front with the 22 pushing the 11. As now the outside lane seems to be strong as everybody's ducking into that lane with, oh no, the 37 of Priest being left high and dry by his teammate Ricky Stenhouse. Although McDowell does cut down to the inside. Let's see if he can get the run. Then he looks like he might block it. Nope, he stays with Logano on the outside lane. Again, 3 wide through the tri-oval. Brad Keselowski to the inside of Ryan Preece, who's to the inside of Kurt Busch. Does he make it work? He most likely will, as he's got help from Chase Elliott, and Preece is by himself. Does the 47 of Stenhouse help his teammate out? No. Oh, it looks like we might be going 4 wide here. Oh, please avoid disaster. As Kurt Busch smartly backs out in order to let Preece through. That outside lane really has the power at the moment, although McDowell is looking again. Or no, correction, that is Joey Logano, who got passed by McDowell, is looking to the inside of McDowell. McDowell, with the help of Preece and Busch behind him, is looking to keep that momentum up around the outside lane as we ride along here with Austin Dillon, with Chase Elliott's coming to pit. That will be his final pit stop. The final pit window is open. We will stick on board with the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as we have 10 laps to go. And we're 3 wide for second place with Keselowski, Logano, and McDowell. McDowell seems to be losing out, although the lap car of William Byron is pulling out. Quick repair job to the back end of that car definitely won't help much, considering he pit by himself. In the outside lane with the run, Stenhouse the outside of Dillon for what looks to be 7th place, although Christopher Bell is still hanging in there. Christopher Bell is trying to decide what lane he should poke up to. The 2 JTG Daugherty cars are linked up. Oh, and there goes the majority of the field to the pits. About a half of the front 10 have pitted for the final time as we see McDowell leading Preece, Stenhouse, Keselowski, and Bell. They will try to train up in order to get their fastest in-lap possible, although someone may try to pull an audacious strategy and stay out longer. This late into the race, I have no idea why. Preece looks to make a move on McDowell, but will get held up by the lap car of Tyler Reddick. As we come down to the closing stage of this race, approaching the final 5%, 10%. As they hit the brakes, entering the pits. I'm predicting we'll most likely see 2 tire and fuel stops here, as with only 8 laps to go coming to the stripe, they really do not want to be taking 4 tires. And the right side up for 2 tires. You can see them being changed there by the crew. Drop down on the jack and away. I was correct in my prediction. 2 tire and fuel only for Ricky Stenhouse. Will that be good enough for that front pack as McDowell pulls out? So does Keselowski. So does Bell. Preece seems to have a little bit of a slower stop. That might hurt him as we look on the backwards camera to see where that lead group of pitting cars has come out and whether they can get around. There's Logano and Hamlin. They're entering turn 1. McDowell's in turn 2. Will it be enough? Will the built-up speed of that outlap from Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin be enough to catch up? As here they come rocketing down the back stretch. Oh, it is going to be close. McDowell and Stenhouse are just wishing to enter turns 3 and 4 right now. And they're able to. But that isn't stopping Denny Hamlin, who looks like he is on a man on a mission. Although Joey Logano being to his outside prevents him from going around Stenhouse as they form up with 7 laps to go this time by. Pit stops are over. It is just now a race to the finish as this lead group has mostly stuck together. McDowell's kind of out by himself, especially with his teammate retiring, although his teammate was nowhere near the front today. It's really going to come down to who makes that smart move going on to the final lap, most likely. Do not be surprised if we see a photo finish here at the Daytona International Speedway in order to determine who won this very important crown jewel opening race of the season. As Keselowski has, even after his unfortunate fuel pit stop error, caught back up to this lead pack and still has a great chance of winning this race as we approach 6 to go. It looks like the lead pack is still maintained, although Truex and Busch have fallen off just a little bit, followed by the next group of Larson, Preece, who's got to be the big loser from that round of pit stops as he had a longer pit stop than practically everybody in the top 10. So far, single file still, although Keselowski and Bell are trying to make that inside lane work. But the front, and it might work, considering the front three just dipped down onto the inside lane. Logano trying to give his teammate as much draft help as possible, leaving the 34 of McDowell stranded, although now Logano dives to the inside of Elliott. Brad Keselowski seems to follow, but McDowell slots in front of him, leaving Elliott out by himself. But now they've shifted back up to the outside lane. They keep switching back and forth and back and forth. I have no idea who's going to stick with who. It seems like teammate loyalty is out of the question. Could this be the first signs of some friction at the Penske team as they are unable to stay hooked up for much longer than maybe a lap or two? As you recall earlier in the race, Logano and Keselowski were fighting for the lead, constantly going side by side, when the smarter thing to do would have just been to link up and push them to try to stay as far ahead of that next chasing pack. But they did not do that as they still continue to run. Logano in front of Keselowski, but they are currently fourth and fifth as McDowell looks to go to the outside of Logano. We now have 4 laps to go as we are on lap 47 of 50. As you can see by the timing, there are 8 cars in with a shot to win this. Do not discount, however, that next pack that seems to be forming up. Never mind. Looks like Kurt Busch and Martin Truex are stuck by themselves. Unless that pack behind them, who is 4 seconds back and ultimately not that big with only 5 cars, catches up to them and can get a real strong push, it is unlikely they will be able to get back in the fight for this win. As we continue to follow along with Logano still trying to work his way back up. And then again, like I just said, Keselowski seems to go to the outside and abandon his teammate, now pushing the other Ford of Michael McDowell. Denny Hamlin seems to just have just enough raw pace and enough smart judgment to be able to swing back and forth in front of these lanes in order to not get passed on the inside or the outside. It's really quite amazing that no one here is able to get a run strong enough to pass the number 11. As we seem to go single file on the third to final lap. McDowell dives to the inside of Logano. Does Keselowski fall? He does. Oh my lord, that's going to be a heated post-race meeting between those two Penske teammates. And Elliott seems to go to the inside of Hamlin. Is this finally the time where... No, because McDowell backs out. McDowell backs out of helping Elliott. And that hurts Elliott's run on Hamlin. Hamlin still leads with 2 laps to go. Brad is behind the 34 of McDowell and pushes McDowell into second place. Elliott trying to hang on to third, but will fail to do so. Going through turn 2. We have 6 more turns left of this race. At the end of this lap, you will see a white flag. If a white flag is flown, that means no matter what happens, the next flag will end this race, as we do not have any overtime procedures. This race could end under caution, but they will keep racing until they see that checkered flag. As McDowell and Hamlin now break away a bit, Logano's behind his teammate Keselowski. McDowell makes a move for the inside. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go here at the Daytona International Speedway. Denny Hamlin and Michael McDowell only separated by 3/100ths of a second as McDowell takes the lead heading into 1. Logano to the inside of Keselowski, again hurting their chances to win this race as they can't get that push. McDowell clearly takes the lead coming out of turn 2. But is this all strategy from Denny Hamlin in order to get that inside line heading to 3 and 4, as well as the draft help? As Logano and Bell desperately try and get to his teammate to help push him to this victory. Keselowski trying to help McDowell. Logano catching up to Hamlin. as they round 3 and 4 for the final time. White checkered flag in the air. Who's going to have it? It looks like Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin pulls out in front of Michael McDowell, and Denny Hamlin wins. Denny Hamlin wins the first race of the 2021 FASCAR season, the 500 miles of Daytona, as we go farther back in the field to see the battles as they cross the stripe. Wow, what a race. What a race. A very clean super speedway race, as there was only one caution, although there were some incidents under caution. And I'm just blown away by the fact that that front group is able to race that closely. Look at that, folks. The top 8 finished within 55 100ths of a second of each other. As you can see, the final back markers crossing the line here. Wow, what a race. Let's go to the official results and calculate the point standings. So looking here, you can see the final results of this race. Denny Hamlin wins the first race of the season. He wins a crown jewel event. He wins, I believe, his third 500-mile of Daytona race. And honestly, he completely dominated according to the lap count. It may not have looked like it, but he slowly and steadily built up that laps led counter. If you look at the stats, you see there is one caution flag for 4 laps. There were 12 lead changes throughout this race. I believe 3 or 4 of them happening on the last lap or the last 2 laps alone. 4 different drivers led a lap, meaning 4 drivers received their bonus points for that. If you can look off to the right, we'll go through the bonus points real quick. The 34th Michael McDowell had the fastest lap of a 47.414, earning him 10 bonus points. The number 11 of Denny Hamlin led the most laps, meaning he earns 20 bonus points, as a crown jewel race is double the points. Normally, most laps led is 10, and the other bonus point categories are 5. Lap leaders, you can see Denny Hamlin, Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski. They all earn their 10 bonus points for that. And then the pole goes to Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin was only one fast lap away from having a grand slam in terms of the statistics, a perfect point day. So as we go through the official standings of the race, you have Hamlin in first, McDowell second, Logano third, Keselowski fourth, Bell fifth. Notable about that, no Chevrolets in the top 5, even though Chase Elliott was up front for most of that last stint. Chase Elliott 6th, Austin Dillon 7th, Stenhouse 8th, Truex 9th, Kurt Busch 10th, Ryan Preece 11th, Cole Custer 12th, Kyle Larson 13th, Cody Ware 14th for a very good day in that Rick Ware car. They seem to really have brought their focus into the season, focusing on 2 full-time efforts and then running 2 part-time cars instead of trying to run 4 cars full-time. That would only end badly. Kyle Busch in the number 18 finishes a solid 15th. Chris Buescher a 16th. Corey LaJoie a 17th for his first race with his new team. A disappointing 18th for Kevin Harvick, who started second on the outside pole for this race. Alex Bowman another disappointing 19th. Noah Gragson a solid top 20 for his part-time car. A 21st for Chase Briscoe in the number 14. A good debut race as he is a rookie. 22nd goes to Ryan Newman. 23rd to Eric Almirola. 24th to Matt DiBenedetto, who, honestly, that's a pretty good race considering he's... never mind. He started 24th, finished 24th. Solid day for Quinn Houff, even though he may have started 17th. The fact that that car finished on the lead lap, outstanding for an underfunded team like Starcom is. 26th, William Byron, honestly a disappointing day, but who knows where he would have been without that damage that caused him to pit 2 additional times before the end of the race. Bubba Wallace unfortunately got trapped a lap down during the caution period, even though he had the pace throughout the race. In 28th, Tyler Reddick, just a really disappointing day. Never had the pace, never could find his way to the front, never could stay in the draft. At least he finished ahead of the 2 other Wickware cars in the race, as the 52 of Bilicki failed to qualify, of Joey Gase and James Davidson. In 31st, you have AJ Allmendinger, who had that problem that resulted in the caution coming out, finishing 3 laps down. Ty Dillon, a respectable 32nd finish, 5 laps down, considering he did start the race from pit road and already 4 laps down due to a mechanical issue. Ryan Blaney, an unfortunate 33rd with a camshaft issue that caused him to retire. BJ McLeod, 34th, after that horrible, horrible mistake coming back onto the track after pitting, destroying the front end of his car. Anthony Alfredo, as I mentioned earlier, seemed to retire with some sort of issue. It turns out to be a gearbox issue. He finishes 35th. And the unlucky soul that is Ross Chastain loses a piston on lap 14 and finishes dead last. So, looking at the points standings going after the first race, as again, this is a crown jewel, so everybody is given double points to where their position would be in a normal race. Denny Hamlin leads by 40 points over Michael McDowell, followed by Logano, Keselowski, Bell, Elliott, Dillon, Stenhouse, so on and so forth, due to the finishing results. Although a few bonus points being notable for the leaders helped extend their lead, which is why there's a 20-point gap between Keselowski and McDowell. Keselowski and Bell. Going all the way down to Chastain, who finished last, getting 40 points. And then the final 8 cars are those who did not enter or did not qualify for this race, all on 0 points. Looking at the team standings, which, as I mentioned earlier, is taken from the highest finishing car of each team. You can see that Joe Gibbs Racing, as Denny Hamlin races for them, leads the way, followed by Front Row, Team Penske, Hendrick, Richard Childress, JTG, Chip Ganassi, Stuart Haas, Rick Ware, Roush Fenway, Spire, Beard, Wood Brothers, Starcom, 2311, Colleague, Gaunt Brothers, Live Fast, and then Team Trackhouse, Richard Petty, MBM, and Union Jack either did not qualify or did not enter the race. So that wraps it up today for our first race of the 2021 FASCAR season. I look forward to seeing you all next week at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Las Vegas 375. I hope that everybody has a good day, that everybody enjoyed the race, and this is Jake from the War Given Racing Network signing off.